I was fortunate enough last summer to be invited by Tom and Meredith Brokaw to the yurt camp, and it was one of the most wonderful experiences that I've ever had. I've been fortunate enough to take a lot of exotic trips and go to very interesting places around the world, and I would put the trip to the American Prairie Reserve right at the top of that list.
Perhaps, though, more important than the size itself is the incredible rarity of the place where we're working. Scientists tell us there are only 4 places left on Earth to do a project of this scale on the grasslands. Only 4 places left. They're all being farmed at the edges and shrinking as we are here tonight. Time is of the essence. While there's bad news happening for wildlife in that latter part of the 1800s, there was some very good news happening as well. And it started right here in New York City. Some progressive thinkers like George Bernard Grinnell, Teddy Roosevelt, and others came up with the idea of our national parks. And together, starting in New York, they started what was to become a golden age of large-scale conservation in this country. Began in the 1870s with Yellowstone National Park, and then came to an end in about 1950 with the last big one we've done, that was Grand Teton. Interestingly though, they passed over the grasslands at that time. Our intention, right up there in northeastern Montana, is to build the largest that's ever been done, 1 million acres bigger than Yellowstone Park, put all the wildlife back, and save it for future generations. Now we're going to have a wildlife phenomenon the likes of which this country hasn't seen for more than 200 years. No matter where you stay with us, we want to get you out on this plains area, the grasslands that most people don't realize even can exist in the United States anymore, to enjoy the coyotes howling and the owls hooting and just simply be out in nature again, giving yourself a gift of time, of just slowing down with each other. So with this project, which I believe is on its way to success for sure, we hope to inspire a new era of large-scale conservation, not only here in this country, but around the world. It's been 14 years since we started, and now increasingly, people everywhere are starting to view this effort as a prime example of American persistence, passion, and ingenuity in action.
The remarkable and the totally lovable Tom Brokaw.
Lewis and Clark, the most adventurous exploration of America in this young country's history. Now, Meredith and I grew up on the Great Plains. We are the children of the Dakota Territory. We find ourselves, when we return there, each rooted to that land that gave us such succor, not just as citizens and as the children of people who came there and broke the ground, but as people who were replenished by what was all around us. Lewis and Clark, on the great waterway of America, the Missouri River, in which I lived on the bluffs of that river all the time until I was 24 years of age. They used that waterway to explore the American savanna, the Great Plains, the prairie, and every day they found something new. New indigenous people, new forms of wildlife, large and small, plants and grasses, trees and shrubs, heretofore unknown. Still, so much of the land remains as Lewis and Clark found it in the northern prairie, and especially in the heart of the Prairie Reserve. We're not just the heirs or the beneficiaries. We really are the stewards of that land. At these troubled times in our lives, I suspect that many of us are wondering, how will our generation be remembered? What is our big idea? But as citizens, we do have, it seems to me, a birthright obligation to preserve, protect, and advance all the glories of this precious nation, natural and man-made. And there is nothing that is more completely preserved than the prairie. It is a garden of life, large and small. It is a place where you will go and see bison and field mice, bald eagles and curlews. It is a place where the predators still roam at night and you can hear for them. And the question is, who speaks for them? Who will care for them? If not us, who? Thank you all very much for being here tonight. Thank you.